While visiting Washington, D.C. and lending a hand at Arlington National Cemetery for the renewal and remembrance, I was also able to visit George Washington's Mount Vernon Estate and Gardens. My friend Dean Norton gave me an interesting history lesson about this monumental place. Dean, what a crowd. I mean, this is really encouraging, if not inspiring, to see so many people out today to see Mount Vernon.
Yeah, this is exciting. You know, what these people don't realize, the gate receipts that we get on a daily basis helps us preserve and protect George Washington's home. So it is wonderful to see these people here on this nice summer day.
What was the size of this place when Washington, I assume it was his brother's estate initially?
Right, Lawrence Washington, and then he leased it for a while, and then in 1759 actually inherited it. Near the end of his life, he had 8,000 acres. 3,620 of that was under cultivation. Where we are today is the original mansion house farm, so not a lot of active farming took place here. This is where all the experimentation and planning went on. All those that would have come and visited George and Martha Washington would have come here. Well, the vegetable gardens certainly helped feed all those people coming by, over 700 in 1798. The pleasure garden for people to just walk, stroll, and enjoy. The bowling green to maybe participate in a game of bowling. Well, Washington was trying to emulate some of the fine old homesteads in England.
He had taken advantage of what I think is the most natural feature here, the Potomac.
Right, I mean, what an incredible view across the East Lawn to the Potomac River and the shoreline beyond. Of course, he didn't own any of that land over there, but he could certainly say, look at my view, and what a view it is.
Now, this whole idea of creating a sense of expansiveness was accomplished by many things. I mean, he was a surveyor. That was his first career, if you will.
He was a surveyor, so he had a good idea of the lines and the spatial, how things should be divided in a proper space and the units. And then, of course, also he read a lot of books as far as landscape design, and so that's what you see today at Mount Vernon is what came out of his research, his writing, his reading. And so what you have today is a transitional landscape. It's not quite naturalistic, but it's a transitional landscape between the formal and the naturalistic.
Now, Washington was, he loved farming,
right.
And he also loved trees, and it's evidenced in many places, but certainly here on the Bowling Green.
Correct. He returned home from the Revolutionary War, Christmas Eve, 1783, and 1 year was spent riding his western properties to check on those, but January 9th, 1785, he's riding his farms and his forests looking for trees to redo his landscape at Mount Vernon. So he's looking for ash, elm, hickory, maple, all these sorts of trees, and within and around this bowling green, he planted around 596 trees and shrubs.
He would have to be proud today to see that several of them that you see here were planted, I guess, under his direction.
Yeah, a couple of the tulip poplars that he planted may have been 10 feet, but now they're 145 feet tall and just magnificent specimens.
How did they get to this great age, given the fact that there's all sorts of climatic conditions that can cause them to die, as well as lightning and so forth?
Well, a couple things. One, the trees that he happened to find in the forest, he just found trees with good genetics. So they were strong trees to start with, and then they have been cared for since Washington's day. They would have been watered during that time, pruned, and of course the care of Mount Vernon Estate when George and Martha died just continued on right up until today.
So Dean, what about the lightning rods? I can tell that there are cables that run down some of the trees. When were those installed?
You know, the Ladies Association always tried to bring the best of the best to help them with whatever they were doing here on the estate, and they brought on a renowned tree specialist that encouraged them through the help of Thomas Edison, believe it or not, to put the lightning cables on these trees. And so all of the taller trees have lightning rods going up to the very tops of the trees. And if there's one thing the arborists did almost nearly 100 years ago to save these taller trees, it was the installation of the lightning rods.
Well, you know, this was a popular place to visit in Washington's time. What are some of the accounts of visitors?
Well, we have records of over 700 people stopping by in 1798, and those were overnight guests.
700?
700. They knew they had a good thing, and they stayed on for sometimes a long time.
And where are we in terms of visitation today at Mount Vernon?
Right now, for the last couple of years, we hope again this year, we're over 1 million people a year, which is just incredibly exciting.
That is excellent. Well, keep up the good work.
Alan, thank you very much.
Thank you.